Welcome to Panda Off the Charts. So what's hot in the strip clubs podcast on Pantheon Podcast Network. We are the number one music podcast strip club, the number one music podcast for strip clubs in the entire world. I can say that twice. There we go. We got a great guest in here. Bob has brought us another one. We have got Tony West from BLACKLIST Union with us here today. How you doing, Tony?
Real good, thank you. How about yourself?
Hey, we're doing good, man. We got you on our strip club show. Glad to have you here. Tell
Thank
me
you.
a little bit about the forming of BLACKLIST Union.
I mean, I formed Blacklist Union in 2004, man. It's almost 20 years.
Wow.
This is this is our fifth record, but when I put the band together, I was auditioning for bands and stuff, and I have a specific sound and genre, and like my biggest, I'm really influenced by Andrew Wood and Mother Love Bone. A lot of punk rock. I grew up in New York, so even the hardcore scene, punk rock, and I love this band growing up called Warrior Soul. They're, Mother Love Bone and Warrior Soul is huge influences on Blacklist Union. So, I just was like, I'm just going to start my own band because I have a specific sound I want to achieve, and just kept it rolling, dude. I mean, been through a lot of shit. It's almost 20 years now. So
Damn. Going back, I mean, I'm from New York as well, and that was a great scene back in the day, the Lismore Lounge and all that. That was like,
oh man, yeah. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Wow.
right? There was so
Of
many
course,
good bands
the
that came out of it.
limelight, bro.
Limelight.
The limelight and
Sunday
fucking
nights, where else?
when I was a
Rock and roll
kid,
church.
we used to go to Danceteria too. Do you remember
Wow.
Danceteria?
Oh yeah, sure. And
Three
then
floors
Wednesday
of
nights
debauchery.
with a cat club. What do you call it? Wednesday nights.
Yeah, of
CBGBs.
course, CBGB's Sunday matinees and stuff. I mean, I saw Sham 69 there, and then
Wow.
of course, all the hardcore bands, Warzone and Murphy's Law, Agnostic Front, all that kind of shit.
Yeah. That's
Who's
dope.
the lead
So-
singer from Warrior Soul again? I'm spacing on his name.
Corey Clark.
Corey Clark. He
Yeah.
was. We used to do. I don't even you remember Foundations Forum, right? And we talked.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. He was on a panel, and he did really well. I'll dig it up. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
We
Remember,
filmed it.
Circus of Power was another band I
Circus
was
of Power,
really
yeah.
into.
I remember them.
I did Alan Grumblatt was a product manager for the band on RCA, and I had a band I was managing, Grim Reaper, at the same time.
Oh wow, yeah.
My uncle owned Harley Davidson in New York, so I hooked Alan up, and my uncle sold him a couple motorcycles that they
Nice.
gave away for Circus of Power.
Hmm.
Those are fun days, man. A lot of
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna.
Actually, the girl. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. You too. You go. Tell us the story.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if do you remember Agatha? She used to make clothes for everybody. Agatha, and she makes my pants actually. But she made clothes for Axel and Slash and everybody.
Yeah.
Dave Navarro. But she's the best, dude, and she's from New York. And she was around in those days too. But I mean, I was a kid, like I was intimidated by a lot of those people, and
Sure.
now they're my friends and shit. So
Did she make Tommy Gunn's assless pants that he used to roam around the cat club in?
probably.
Awesome.
So,
Well, a lot.
Yeah, but what I love about you is you got all the rock credentials. I know you filled in and helped out Tracy Guns and LA Guns for a year or two on tour, right? And
yeah.
your musical journey's been great too, because you got the Mother Love Bone, the Seattle grunge thing. You have the 80s hair rock thing. I see the AC/DC poster behind you.
Yeah.
As the years have evolved and you've developed more and more, you kind of fine tune into your own sound, right? Where do you think you're headed now, and where do you think rock's going?
I mean, dude, I'm always, I'm like the up tempo, in your face rocker guy. Like, GBH is huge for me. Like shit that makes you want to fucking break bottles and like fuck and drive fast and shit. But then there's this other side, and especially on this record, where we tapped into some things like Dirty Halo, The Queen of Everything, Dancing with the Angels, and Mia, which is an Aerosmith cover. I think we found a really good niche there with that kind of slow, dark, moody. I'm really into that right now. We're going to actually do an acoustic EP. I'm going to the Amazon jungle with the Indians November 30th.
Oh, shit.
to do ayahuasca and stuff, and that's a very spiritual, deep healing, trauma, releasing kind of experience. But so when I went 5 years ago after my guitar player, it was Todd Youth. Todd Youth was in Warzone, Murphy's Law, Agnostic Front, and he died in 2018. And I was like, fuck, man, I can't let this ruin my life. Like so I went to with the Indians and experienced that. And but I don't know where I'm going with this. But you mentioned Mother Love Bone, and I learned how to sing to Mother Love Bone as a kid. Like, I showed up in Hollywood with a fucking plastic bag of my stuff and a Mother Love Bone tape in a dream,
Yeah.
And then I ended up being friends, with the Alice in Chains guys. And when Mike died, he was my roommate. And when Mike died, we did this set of songs, an event for him. Like, I did a set of Alice in Chains songs, and I did a set of Mother Love Bone songs. So the set of Mother Love Bone songs got to Kevin Wood, who is Andy's brother. And he actually asked me to join Malfunction, which was the band prior to Mother Love Bone that Andy was in all those years. And they're accredited for being the catalyst of starting the Seattle scene, actually, Malfunction. So I actually got to sing in my fucking heroes band, singing the songs that I learned how to sing to. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it was like, man, of course, in the early days, I wasn't very good. I sucked, and people let me know that shit too. And like, it was my swan song moment, because here it was. We did a lot of gigs, but this one specific gig in Seattle with all the camps, the Nirvana camp, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Andy's mom, like all this shit. And I got to sing these songs for these people, his family and his friends and his fans and shit. But yeah.
Dude,
that's great.
What I love about it is you take this long musical journey and you get to play with your heroes, which is something a lot of people don't get to do, right?
Yeah,
and as I'm reading through your history and hearing you talk, that's so empowering. But I love that you talk about the aggressive rock side, and then, as you and I know, I was a singer too back in the day, and from the '80s hair metal stuff, right? And grunge killed it, right? Grunge kicked our asses, and it was overnight. It ended. And yet you have managed to survive and keep thriving. And as your sound has evolved, and like you said, now you're going into these deep personal spaces in your music, which authenticity is such what people want from rock, more so now, probably than ever. Rick Rubin talks about, you got to play for yourself and you got to come from a true sense of authenticity, right? With your music. And so that's where you are now. You're even going on this journey. So I'm really interested in how are you able to get that vulnerable to that point, to be able to put that on record for the public consumption?
Bro, I have to, because as a kid, I was the fucking kid that music shaped my life, dude. I got answers from music. It shaped my entire life. Like a song, like, dude, I'll fucking be like, I'm done playing music because all the business shit. And then I'll get an email from someone that's like, we played your song at my loved one's funeral, or your music has helped me get through the death of my loved one. Whatever the fuck it is, like, that shit happens all the time. And it happens at the perfect moments where I'm like, fuck this, and then boom, it happens. But, being authentic in your music, it's, people know it without knowing. They feel it. You feel it. It's not even, you need to know anything. It just comes across that way, like boom, it fucking hits you in the heart, So,
well said. That's the power of music, man.
It is, yeah.
Very cool. Well, what I want to do is I want to play about 30 seconds of your new song. This is Keys to the Kingdom, Blacklist Union. We're going to play about 30 seconds, and we'll come back and talk about the song and talk about you a little bit more. So hang tight. 30 seconds. Keys to the Kingdom, Blacklist Union.
The king of the jungle is ready to rumble once again. After the ceremony, headed home at dawn. Got my queen, now where's my fortune? Cast the darkness out. Can you feel the rhythm? The souls in prison, wanting to break free. I got the keys to the kingdom.
Okay, I went a little over 30. My bad. I was enjoying it. I saw this Well, crunchy rock with a biting edge, and I said, "Yeah, there's a good one." You know what's cool is I heard the name of the band, and then I listened to the song, and every once in a while you find a band name that just really fits the song. You know, you hear a name and you think, "Well, this is going to sound like this," and sometimes it doesn't sound a thing like what you expected. But I expected exactly that, and that's exactly what I got. So I was very impressed with it. I love the song.
Nice.
I love the beat of it. It's going to be a great strip club song. It's one of those perfect songs that the girl that does the pole work and really flips around and really moves. It's not for the girl that just stands there and goes, "Do I look pretty?" Tip. It is for the girl that moves and performs and entertains, and that is going to be a great song. And I also saw that just hit 21 on the SMR chart. Is that where it is right now?
Yeah. It keeps
Very
moving
cool.
up. That's a very Marilyn Manson
I was gonna
influenced
say,
song
yeah.
too. The rhythm, and I love Manson, man. Some of his, his tones and his rhythms and shit were so great, and it's very heavily influenced by that, obviously. And it's a mover and a shaker. Like you can't help but move to that shit.
Yep.
I remember when I used to see Saliva in the early days, and you couldn't not move. Like they had that rhythm thing, like where it's
Yep.
just like you just moved. So I think that song has some of that.
Well, there's
Great bands. Go ahead.
there's an unwritten genre that strippers like to use when they say when they tell you what kind of music they like, and they just always say Manson Zombie, Manson Zombie, Zombie Man.
Yeah.
That's a stripper genre. So now what's going to be cool
Right.
is when I got these girls that go Zombie Manson, I'm going to go, okay, then you're also going to like
Blacklist.
Blacklist Union. So we will
Yeah.
introduce you to that genre of stripper as well. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing.
There you
Danny,
go.
you nailed it on the head, man. The drums, the drum track, the rhythm is great. It's got that tribal beat,
Yeah.
and got some oomph to it, like you said. And the great bands, whether it's Van Halen, whether it's Motley Crue, whether it's Manson, they make you move. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
They got that swing, right? They always talk about what made Van Halen different. They had a swing, right? Eddie and Alex had a swing to their.
Yeah.
And I think this has got that sort of vibe, that swing to it, which makes it easy to dance to. It gets the crowd, everyone bobbing their head, tapping their foot, whatever they're doing. Even if there's a hot chick on stage, even the guys in the crowd are going to be like, okay,
and dude,
yeah, and she's fucking hot. Yeah.
And lyrically, the king of the jungle is ready to rumble once again. After the ceremony, headed home at dawn. Got my queen, now where's my fortune? Cast the darkness out. That's all ayahuasca shit. I was in the jungle with the Indians, like healing myself. And I was shown in one of the visions that like if I clean up the wreckage of my past, I will be given the keys to the kingdom. That's what I was told. So that's what that song's about. Yeah.
And metaphorically, it actually fits for a night at the club. I got the keys to, you're out, you're having a good time. I got the keys to the kingdom. I'm out. I meet a hot chick, my queen, got my queen. Like it all fits.
Yeah. Right. And I like to write people can relate to it in their own personal journeys. You know what I mean? Like I'd like to write in a way where they can relate and maybe, in different way. I don't know.
Absolutely. Open to interpretation, right? They bring their own experience to your music.
Right.
So Bob Chiappardi is with us. He is with stripjointsmusic.com. Bob, how was that working with you and any experiences you can share?
Well, I mean, as far as the experience of the song, I mean, once I heard the song, it was a no-brainer. I mean, perfect for the strip clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I'll look for songs if somebody doesn't send me a song that that they want me to check out. And I've told you guys before, I go to Spotify every Friday with the new music and go to the different, the EDM and the metal, hard music charts, playlist and check out. And if I can't get an image of a girl swinging around a pole, when I hear the first 15 seconds of the song, it's not a stripper song to me.
Yeah.
But 2 seconds into this track, it was like, this is a no-brainer. So we've sent it out. We're getting a great first reaction, and I think it's going to do well on the what do you call it, on the charts with the
Panda charts. Yep.
With the Panda charts. So
we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. We've got our Panda chart, which is the Panda Top 20, the top 20 songs being played in strip clubs. And Alon is our chart professor. So everybody sends their playlist to Alon. He puts together the chart, and that's what we're talking about. We say we hope we're going to get your song on the next Panda Top
Strip
20.
club charts. It's certainly in the Midwest, rock does better.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
even in strip clubs. Like I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and I know I always
Yeah.
played
Oh yeah.
more rock than you know, other clubs in other markets and other markets.
Columbus, isn't that where the Villa Rosa is in Columbus, right?
Alrosa Villa, yeah, that's where it used to be. It's
Dude,
gone now.
check out this. You want to hear this story? So my friend was playing with Vince Neil, right? I fucking fly to Cincinnati, and I'm like, I'm gonna find a ghetto cab driver at the Greyhound station to take me to fucking Columbus, right? And that's a far distance.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
and this
Sorry.
was in 2002. So I find the cab driver to take me there, dude. On the way there, he's like, "Do you mind if I smoke crack on the way?" I was like, yeah." I'm like, I have some weed. Do you want some weed, bro? Like crack? No. So anyway, we get to the club, and I tell him pull around back, where the bus is. So I knock on the bus, nobody answers. I turn around, I see this fucking door, the back door there.
Yep.
So dude, I walk in, and you make a left, and there's the fucking stage, right?
Yep.
So I walk in, I said, "Yo, somebody should be watching the door, man. Vince has celebrity status. Like somebody should be watching the fucking door." And I remember I told Jack Carson, his manager, I told Vince, I told my friend playing with Vince, I told the fucking club owner, and I kept going on about it. And I was told, dude, just drop it, And I was like, okay, but that shit ain't right. 2 years later, that motherfucker came in and killed Dime, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had a lot of mutual friends, but I remember when that happened, I was like, what the fuck? I told these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, I couldn't believe it. And that poor motherfucker, dude, the way he died. And we had mutual friends. And when we toured through Dallas one time, I was the only one in the band at the time. I had a local take me to his grave.
Yeah.
And I buried a ring that I wore for 20 years. And I was like, bro, I tried to warn them, dude. I'm so sorry. And I've told John Graham this story, who runs trees in Dallas. And he was Vinny's guy who he jumped on Vinny and got shot in the fucking leg and shit. Dude, I've told this story to him and other people, Rita, like they've cried.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I have goosebumps. I was like, I fucking tried to warn them, but
I'll say this. I mean, I know the Riccatelli family. I've played that stage. I've played that stage many times back when I was a singer. And at different times, they have had security there. That must have been a bad night because normally you couldn't just walk in the back door. And sadly, like one of my best friends is Nick Katniss, who's played in Black Label Society for a long time. And I called him the night of the show. I had a buddy who was at the show. And I was DJing. He said, "Yo, you're not going to believe this. This just happened." He's like, "I know Zach and those guys." He's like, and the family. So I called Nick at like 2:30 in the morning. He's like, "What are you doing? Call me." I said, "Dude, are you sitting down?" And I told him what happened to Dime. I said, "You need to call Zach so that the news can come from Zach and not from the news, and not so they can tell the family." I said, "But I know you guys know Dime. I know you know Vinny. I know all that." He's like, "This is not funny." I go, "Dude, I'm not joking. This is serious." My buddy was there. He's like, "There's no way he survived. He was, so
yeah."
Brutal night for all of us. And believe me, and even, Rick, the guy who supported rock and roll local and national for 40 years. And it pretty much cost him his business too in the long run, and I that dude was just crazy, period. He shot and killed a bunch of people. The cop had to shoot and killed him that night. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, I don't know that even a bouncer would have stopped him. He probably would have just shot him in the head too. And one of the bouncers got shot and killed trying to jump on him. And you know what I mean? So unfortunately, the guy was just a sick fuck, and a lot of people paid the consequences.
Yeah. But every time I hear Columbus, I think of that story.
I know,
fucked up. But...
I know, sad. It bums out for us because this used to have a great rock scene, bro. I'm telling you, like local bands, there was a lot of good, but it hurt the whole scene here. You know what I mean? Everyone was crushed. Everyone loved Dime. Everyone loved Vinny. And unfortunately, Columbus got a bad rep. I think a lot of bands avoided playing not just Alrosa, but Columbus because of it for years.
Right.
Only now starting to come back.
I mean, that's a serious scar in just rock and roll, dude. It's like, I mean, fuck,
100%.
We used to, I used to manage with my partner, Walter O'Brien, Pantera.
Wow.
And what do you call it? 2 days, I think it was 2 days, no more than 3 before that went down. They were here in New York, and I did an interview with them for our 20th anniversary. I was putting together a 20th anniversary documentary, and I interviewed them on the bus. So I think it's the last interview before, video interview before that all went down. but it's on my. If you want to check it out, it's on our YouTube. Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy world. The record Letters from the Psych Ward, I was asked, what does it mean? And I said, well, it means trying to stay sane in a world that's gone mad, because that's
sure.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is, dude.
Well, let's end it on a positive note. This is a great
Yes.
The Keys to the Kingdom from Blacklist Union. Got Mr. Tony West here. Thank you for sharing all the stories and all the vibes about your experience and your journey. It sounds like you're in an uplifting part of your life, and I know you can make a difference with a lot of people with what you're sharing in your music and what you're sharing in this interview too, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Tony, your social medias and your website. How can people follow you?
BLACKLISTUNION.com, and we're on all the platforms, Instagram, all that shit, TikTok, and Facebook. And my son says, "Oh, Facebook's for old people," but we're still on it. So
Hey, go see this band live. I have a feeling you are a band that's meant to be seen live.
Bro, it's all about live, man. Yeah. And when we did our record release party out here, especially Keys to the King, like the crowd went fucking nuts, like, and we play in LA, like everyone in LA is like this. But for some reason, dude, and I've been around with us, man, we pack it out and people are into it. Like, and I'm like, I tell my manager, Paul, I'm like, dude, if that's happening in LA, like the rest of the world's gonna fucking be down, So
yep, no, for sure. LA crowds are always about arms crossed.
Yeah.
Normally.
Well, Tony West with Blacklist Union, thank you so much for coming on our show today and sharing your life and your stories and some emotional things with us as well, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You, Tony. Thank you, brother.